Hey, how are you doing? It's Alan here from Looking for Warriors, and I'm talking about the skill stack and what your kids should have in their skill stack. I'm going to talk about something vitally important today, and that is writing. Writing is really, really important. Now, there's lots of different aspects of writing, so I'm going to talk about one specific aspect today, and that aspect is what your kids need to do in order to be able to write when they're learning. Now, this is really important because a huge mistake people make with Skillshare, with Udemy, with all the online learning is they treat it like Netflix. So, which is okay. They will put in their earphones, be cleaning their house, and they'll listen to the Udemy course or the Skillshare course, which is fine as an aspect of learning. Or same with Audible, you listen to your book if it's a fact-based book. But it's one aspect, but it's not the whole process of learning. If you read The Lost Tools of Learning, there's a specific way of learning which is called grammar, logic, and rhetoric. Now, grammar is the first part of it, the part we've been just talking about. Grammar is just listening. So you treat it like Netflix, you have your earphones in, you can clean your house and you can listen once you're in the moment listening to the course. But the second part, I think there should be a second listening. Whether you're doing Audible, whether you're doing Udemy, whether you're doing Skillshare, there should be a second listening where you're listening and taking notes. And a great way to do this is what we call wow facts. So things that really jump out to you that you're listening to. Because let's say I could do a course, I know a lot about digital marketing, let's say, and I could do a course in digital marketing because I want to know everything digital marketing. And I could listen to 3 sections of a course that's just telling me things I already know. So there's no point in taking notes in that. There's no wow facts. Nothing's going to jump out to me with that. I know it all already. It's okay. But, and this is important, we can then I can listen to a section that has stuff that I haven't heard before. Maybe it's new stuff. Digital marketing is changing all the time. Maybe there's new stuff and I hear some wow facts, some really interesting stuff. But what I need to do then is get my Evernote out or your piece of paper or whatever you want. I would suggest Evernote because you're never going to lose it again. Google Keep is another option as well. But just Evernote is great. Just use Evernote. So you get your Evernote out. If you don't have Evernote, Evernote's free. But if you don't have a computer with you, you can use a sheet of paper. But you write down the wow facts. And this does a couple of things. First of all, it nails it into your brain, the important things that you need to learn and remember. So it really helps you remember these things. Now, the third part is really important as well to remember. But let's just deal with the second part right now, writing it down. So we go out with a sheet of paper or into your Evernote and write down in your own words the things that really jump out to you. And what you want to do then is link that with the current knowledge you already have or things you've learned or things you've heard and link it together. We're saying it in our own words, but we're also using our own information to make it our own. So that's the logic area. So you should really do this. A great way to do this with your kids. Let's say when your kids are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it doesn't matter. A great way to do it is to read a book. So you read a book with them. And after the book, because today, the big issue today is with computers and iPads. Computers and iPads are great and Xboxes are great and PlayStations are great. These are all great things, but they are having an effect on our brain where we aren't remembering like we used to, which is okay. You don't need to know a lot of facts. But in order to combat this a little bit and keep our brains working, what you need to do is you need kids to be able to tell you 2 minutes later what happened in what you were learning. So you can do this by doing exercise. If you're doing a Photoshop course, you can do exercise afterwards, which helps to nail it into their brain. But it can be as simple as you doing paired reading story with them. So you're reading a page, then reading a page, you're reading a page, then reading a page. Then afterwards, just sitting down and saying, what happened in the story? Tell me in your own words what happened in the story. Simple as that. Then they can write it out as well. They can write their own story. But if you're doing a course, any kind of course with them, let's say you're from Poland and you're doing a Polish course with them because they're in, let's say that you've come to England or Ireland or US and you want them to remember who they are. So you're doing a course in their own language with them. Or you're doing some sort of course, a digital course or whatever course you're doing. Let's say you're doing some sort of course with them. If they can write out 5 minutes later, and it doesn't have to be a long time, if they can write out 5 minutes later what happened in there, or what they were learning, or they can recite the story to you, or if you're watching a movie, if they can recite the movie afterwards. That is so, so, so important. And it's a skill that we're losing. So if you give that to your kids, if you give that to the kids, that they're able to recite and remember, that's going to be so, so important. So this is writing. It's a very important aspect of learning, writing down afterwards, taking notes, really important. And you should teach them from the youngest age. And the way to teach them from a very, very young age is do the paired reading, and then you only have to read 3 or 4 pages, and then sit down with them. It's nice having a bit of time with them, and you can ask them to tell you what happened in the story. So this has been Alan here from Looking for Warriors. Writing, really, really important. Get your kids used to writing.